Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a story that has literally left people all around the world with wet eyes and heavy hearts. We're talking about the incredible story of Palma. Now, this isn't just a simple recap. It's a deep dive into a really captivating tale of profound loyalty, heartbreaking abandonment, and the absolute resilience of both the human and animal spirit. Seriously, when you hear what this dog went through, you're going to be completely glued to your screen.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's a question that strikes at the very core of anyone who's ever loved a pet. What actually happens when man's best friend gets left behind? I mean, how long does loyalty last when the person you're loyal to just completely disappears? Today, we're going to explore exactly how a dog processes this kind of abandonment and the incredible chain reaction her devotion sets off among a group of total strangers.
Section 1. Left behind at the airport. So picture a bustling Moscow airport. We've got a really heartbreaking clash of priorities here. On one side, there's this man named Igor, and he is just absolutely driven by ambition. He's thrilled, right? He's ready to take off on a crucial foreign trip that's basically guaranteed to elevate his career. And he's brought his pet dog, Palma, along for the ride. But then, on the flip side, we hit a massive roadblock. An air hostess named Nina lets Igor know that Palma actually needs a medical certificate to fly. When Igor rushes her to the airport clinic, the vet finds an ear infection and just outright refuses to clear her. Igor is begging. He's literally trying to touch Nina's feet in pure desperation, but the airport security head, Jarina, steps in and firmly shuts the whole thing down. It's actually a super interesting historical fact that Soviet aviation regulations at the time were incredibly strict, like absolutely zero room for bureaucratic exceptions. So backed into a corner by his ambition, Igor makes a split-second, gut-wrenching decision. He walks Palma away from the plane, pulls a ball from his pocket, and just hurls it as far as he can. As Palma joyfully chases after it, Igor turns his back, sprints up the stairs, and boards that plane without her.
Section 2. The endless wait.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer persistence of a dog's devotion. When Palma comes bounding back with the ball, her master's just gone. She is entirely alone on this massive runway. Security guards spot her almost immediately, and they actually have strict orders to shoot stray dogs. But right from day one, she manages to escape, and she hides out in the yard of a kind-hearted airport mechanic named Tikhonov. He gives her shelter, but Palma's mission is absolutely clear. You see, in canine pack psychology, sudden abandonment is often perceived as a critical survival threat, and that triggers this obsessive, unwavering waiting behavior. So, for the next several years, every single time she hears the roar of a jet engine, Palma sprints out to the runway. She meticulously watches the passengers get off the planes, searching every single face for Igor, all while constantly dodging the guards who are hunting her down. Flight after flight, year after year, her hope just never dies.
Section 3. A boy and his dog.
Now, the whole dynamic of the story shifts when a turbulent flight lands piloted by a man named Victor. On this particular flight is Victor's 8-year-old son, Kolya. And Kolya is arriving to live with a father he barely even knows. Honestly, Kolya and Palma are two souls going through the exact same emotional turmoil. Kolya is grieving the recent loss of his mom, and he feels totally alienated from his dad. Well, one day, Kolya is watching in horror as the airport guards finally manage to capture Palma, tossing her into a bus to be put down. Acting on just pure, raw empathy, the kid sneaks under the bus and frees her. Later on, Nina, the air hostess, tells Kolya the real reason Palma is always chasing those planes, and Kolya realizes that, just like him, Palma is desperately missing someone she loves. So, the crucial point is the profound empathy that emerges right here. Kolya actually tries to track down Igor's address to send him a letter. When privacy rules stop him, he just goes ahead and drafts this incredibly powerful message anyway, begging the owner to come back. He writes, "Whether human or animal, everyone feels the pain of separation." It's just such a profound realization coming from an 8-year-old kid. It really highlights that grief and abandonment are universal languages, and this shared pain ends up cementing a really beautiful, totally unbreakable bond between the boy and the dog.
Section 4. Viral fame and exploitation.
As you might expect, rumors of this loyal airport dog start spreading like wildfire. And suddenly, a local minister and that strict security head, Jarina, see an opportunity. Jarina just wants to get rid of the distraction, but the minister, he sees a golden PR ticket. He genuinely doesn't care about the dog, he only cares about the cameras. So he capitalizes on Palma's growing global fame by having a cage built right next to the runway. He traps her in it and poses for the media, acting like this big hero, protecting the famous dog, and promising to reunite her with her owner. But being trapped in that cage, cut off from the open runway, and forced into this media spectacle Palma just gives up. She stops eating. She falls into a really severe, life-threatening depression. Now, in stark contrast to that political greed, little Kolya sneaks out during a freezing rainstorm. He actually takes off his own jacket to cover the shivering, dying dog, staying right by her side all night to keep her warm, while the politicians are just off chasing photo ops. Section 5. The ultimate choice. Thanks to the massive viral news cycle, the moment everyone has been waiting for finally happens. Igor, the original owner, actually returns to the airport. But guys, the reality is far from a fairy tale. Igor steps off his flight straight into a massive live PR stunt orchestrated by the minister. Flashbulbs are popping off, reporters are everywhere, and Palma, recognizing her master after all these years, runs right up and kisses his face. But here's the devastating truth. Igor doesn't even want her back. He's literally only there because the minister threatened to have him fired from his highly paid foreign job if he didn't play along for the cameras. You know, animals are just incredibly intuitive. Palma instantly senses Igor's reluctance. And more importantly, she realizes where her true family actually is now. As Igor tries to pull her onto the plane, Palma breaks free. She bolts back toward Kolya, refusing to leave the boy who sat with her through the freezing rain. But Igor, who is completely desperate to save his job and keep the minister happy, violently grabs Palma and forcibly drags the struggling dog back up the stairs and onto the aircraft. Let's move to and see how this builds to an absolutely incredible, satisfying climax. The airport staff, who have watched this poor dog suffer for years, finally decide enough is enough. Pilot Victor, who is Kolya's father, steps right out of the cockpit and flat out refuses to fly the plane. He risks his entire career right then and there. Then Nina, the air hostess, steps in, and in a stroke of absolute poetic justice, she looks Igor and that furious minister dead in the eye, and she demands a medical certificate for the dog. She brilliantly uses the exact same bureaucratic rule that trapped Palma all those years ago to set her free today. Completely defeated by the rules and the sheer willpower of these people, Igor just gives up. He takes off Palma's collar, and Palma sprints down those stairs, running straight into Kolya's arms for good. The story of Palma draws so many parallels to classic emotional cinema. It's a stark reminder that while humans can sometimes let us down or abandon us for their own ambitions, an animal's loyalty is just remarkably pure. So it leaves us with a really lingering thought to reflect on today. Have you ever experienced a bond this unbreakable? Think about the connections in your own life that weather the hardest storms. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.